How much money do clinical research sites make? Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and share. Leave in the comments robot emojis because we're here to shatter all algorithms. So, how much do research sites make? Yes, we've done videos on this. If you go to my blog, theclinicaltrialsguru.com, click on Open a Clinic. We do like hours of webinars breaking down all the different ways sites get paid. This is going to be a short one, short and to the point, because chances are if you're watching this, you're somebody thinking about starting a site. Whether you're a physician, entrepreneur, a coordinator, a CRA, whatever the case may be. By the way, we help you get studies for your site and negotiate your budgets and do a whole bunch of other stuff, all inclusive for $1,299 a month as of August 6th, 2021. Month-to-month contract, no long-term contract needed. Text me 949-415-6256. With that out of the way, how much do sites make? The ballpark number is per every study. That's a average budget, because those can vary wildly. But let's take the average study budget, and you're enrolling a moderate number of patients. You're not the high enroller, but you're also not the low enroller. You're somewhere at middle or slightly better than average site enroller, which could mean 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 completed patients for most studies. The average study budget is about $300,000 per study. That's the average gross revenue for a moderate number of patients that you enroll in one study. So from that, you got to start, and that's just one study. From that, you've got to start looking at your costs. Okay, well, you got to pay your PI. Again, that varies a lot. Maybe you are the PI. You don't need to pay yourself. Maybe you're an entrepreneur, you're a CRA, you're a CRC, and you are the one paying your PI. Let's just say, and again that varies, let's just say it's 20% of the gross budget. So that right there is $60K from that $300K that goes to the PI. So now you're at $240K for that study. Now you've got to pay your staff. So for one study, you're only going to need one coordinator. One coordinator can do about 3 studies at this rate until they start getting overburdened, and then you need to hire more staff. So a coordinator, again, it varies. Let's say you're paying them $45,000. So now from that 240, you're at what is that? 195 as your profit. Now you got to pay rent, right? I mean, your clinic's got to be somewhere. As much as we talk about virtual trials, trust me, tell your landlord it's virtual. It's not. You got to pay the landlord. Depending on, this is where it varies wildly again, depending on the market. Some sites do free. They don't pay rent. They work with their PI in their office. Let's take $2,000 a month. So that's $24K a year. So now from 195, we're at 175 minus 4, 171. You guys are catching my math skills fast. Let's make it 170 for short. So now you're at 170. You're almost at like 50% profit margins. Now you got supplies, overhead, which is usually about 10 to 40% of the budget, but that includes rent. So let's take just supplies. Let's also factor in one support staff, like a medical assistant. So from 170, you're probably looking at another 40K. So now you're at 130K profit. But that's for your study. All right, that's for one study. That's your profit. The majority of sites, even in their first year, the majority of sites typically, within that first year, they typically do 3 to 4 studies. At least that's what our clients do. If you're working on your own, it might take you longer to get 3 or 4 studies if you're working with someone who knows what they're doing, like us. Okay, so let's factor in our fee too. $1,300 a month. What is that? That's 30. That's 12,000 a year plus an extra 3 times 12, 300, 330, 360, 12,000 a year, 12,000 12,300 a year. I think. I don't know. Let's call it 15K. So from 150 minus 15K, now you're at 135K profit from that study. You're not factoring in patient payments. You pay patients cash each time, and you're not factoring in transportation because you get those reimbursed. So I'm just trying to keep it simple. So let's take even more off. Let's just be more conservative. Let's say you spend an extra 30 grand a year because of that study. So like meals, even though you get those reimbursed, let's go full conservative. You're at 100K profit now for that study as long as you're enrolling a moderate number of patients. So you see why patient recruitment becomes very important here. But you're at 100K, it's still good profit for one study. Now, figure that most sites do 3 or 4 studies in their first year. So your profit is 3 to 400K a year off of about between 900,000 and 1.2 million gross, which is very reasonable for the average site to do. The problem is most sites don't know what they're doing, take on their first study, spend a lot of money, don't figure out how to get patients. I shouldn't say most sites, most new sites that start out. They don't know how to get patients, they don't focus on the important things. They focus on what their logo looks like as opposed to getting patients in the door. And so they end up spending and not having that revenue. So as you can see, imagine if you don't have any patients coming in. Okay, all those costs I mentioned, you still have to pay minus the PI fee of 20%. Let's just call it 20%. So you can lose money doing studies too. But if you know what you're doing, you get the patients. Even if you don't know what you're doing very well, if you can get the patients, you're making about 100K, very conservatively, 100K profit per study per year. At 4 studies, you're making 400K, almost $500,000 a year in profit at 900 to 1.2 million. So it's no wonder why physicians and clinicians are looking at research sites as an alternative or as an add-on to their private practice. And it's no wonder why CRAs and CRCs are looking at this and are thinking, okay, well, I can do a site too. I know research. So, and I think at the end of the day, we need more sites. Despite what other sites may tell you, we do need more sites because we're behind on patient enrollment. We're behind on diversity. We need more sites in underserved areas. We need more sites enrolling more minorities in studies. All that good stuff. So that's in a nutshell, in under 10 minutes, under 9 minutes, what sites typically make. And the average site does about 8 studies a year. The average successful site. Once they get past their first year, let's say they do 3 to 4 studies, the average site does between 8 to 10 studies a year. And of course, you need to start bringing on more support staff. That's when you start getting streamlined. Maybe you have a dedicated patient recruiter. Maybe you have a dedicated regulatory specialist. Maybe you have a dedicated person that does data entry. Your costs go up, so profit margins go down a little. But at the end of the day, your top line with 8 studies, maybe 2 million a year or 2.4 million a year. And you're probably generating profits of just under 800K a year off of that number. And that's, again, you're not like anything special here. You're not a high enroller. You're just moderately enrolling in all these studies. That hopefully is some help for you guys. I know I get asked this a lot, and this gets Googled a lot. And I just wanted to shine some light on this. Thank you guys. Let me know in the comments what you think. Bye-bye.